Hi, I'm Toffer. Welcome to my spare room. Now, recently I went through and reorganised my gaming collection, and in doing that, it got me thinking about a lot of the gaming franchises that I've thoroughly enjoyed through my gaming life. And I thought it'd be quite a fascinating thing to chat about because gaming franchises are weird. So game franchises can be done in multiples of different ways. They can be a continuation of a story in the same world at a different time, a story in the same world but with a hugely different location, different stories but with similarities in characters, the previous year's game in a different skin, or, in the case of Mario, absolutely anything they want to do. Now, the first franchise I really got into was Monkey Island back on the Amiga. This is where I learnt my love for adventure games. This spread through to the Simon the Sorcerer series, through to Indiana Jones and the other LucasArts titles, through to the more modern Telltale series. The storytelling really was a precursor to my love for adventure games. Tomb Raider series was quite a big one for me. Now, I've owned all the games at one point, but, you get rid of stuff at some point, really, don't you? Now, this developed also through to the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, I don't have every game they released at the moment. I do aim to pick them up again, add them at one point. But look at the amount of games they've released over just 2 generations. The first game now is pretty dated. It hasn't aged so well and wasn't really what the developers wanted either. The sequel should have been the first title with the way it was looking. But this is an insane amount of games over that time. Also thinking about how big the games are too. They are huge in scale. Another big franchise for me back in the day was an amazing football title. Great control structure, huge roster, superb graphics. It was amazing that they could make a big change every year. Yep, Sensible World of Soccer. This game series kept me going for years. Unfortunately, it didn't really live past these days. It did get a PS2 release, and a lot of fans have managed to re-release new versions each year. I've got to mention it though, I suppose. FIFA, not my kind of series. Now, I did pick up the 2017 version for £1 just to check it out. Now, they'd added a story mode this year. It was interesting. They then continued that in 18. I waited and got this for a couple of quid. I plan on getting 19 to finish the story, but I'm in no rush for that. But it was nice to see something a little bit different in the football franchise to make it interesting. Now, a big series for me has been Final Fantasy, as you can see. I got addicted to number 7 after a marathon 6-hour gaming session. The first time I ever played it. Since then, I've played every Final Fantasy I can get my hands on. Frustratingly, my copy of Final Fantasy VIII has gone missing again. Seems to be a title that always seems to do a runner from me. As you can see, the series is huge. There's mainline, spin-offs, there's been films. I'm one of those that will book time off when one of these games comes out just to play it. I was kind of thankful we were in lockdown when the Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. It gave me the time to play it. Now, the Elder Scrolls series is another huge one. Not one that I'm personally massive into. I got into the series at Oblivion. I do own Morrowind. I've not played much of it. But Skyrim is the game where my love really kicked in, like I think a lot of people's did. And hey look, 3 versions of Skyrim. Now, there's a lot of franchises. I try and keep them all on the same console or on the same console series. So if the first one came out on PlayStation 1, I'd like to get the next one on PlayStation 2, etc, etc. So these become a frustration. I adore this game series. Katamari. This game really doesn't get the love it deserves. It's such a mental, insane Japanese game. You roll stuff up. It's very difficult to explain. It's very difficult, even watching videos of it. This game makes no sense. You have to play it. The frustration I've got is it came out on multiple different series. Now, the only game I don't officially own is the original Katamari Damacy, because it came out on PlayStation 2 in Japan and America only. It didn't come out in Europe. Now, thankfully, it's come out now, but it's come out on a different system. So we started off on the PlayStation, and it just moved through PlayStation, loving it. PlayStation, Xbox, Switch. It's so frustrating. It doesn't sit right, but I own the games. I can't really complain too much. Unfortunately, you're always going to get a series that starts, looks like it's going to do something, and then just falls away. Grandia was a superb PlayStation 1 game, followed by a very good PlayStation 2 game, and that's where it ended, in the UK at least. Because 2 didn't do so very well over here, so we didn't see 3 due to the localization costs, which means I never got a chance to play it, which has always frustrated me. Breath of Fire was another fantastic series that continued up until the PlayStation 2, and the game that came out there, Dragon Quarter, was so ahead of its time. You had to have multiple playthroughs to actually complete it, and at that time, most people didn't really understand the way it worked, and for me, it's still a game I've never gotten around to completing, which has always frustrated me. How can you talk about gaming franchises without talking about horror? Now, Alone in the Dark was really the one that kicked it off, but Resident Evil was the one that made a stamp. Everyone remembers the first time they played Resident Evil. I do. It terrified the living daylights out of me. But I was playing the Japanese director's cut, and yeah, that was terrifying. I only managed to complete Resident Evil 2 for the first time 6 or 7 years ago because it just held something over me, and the franchise just went from strength to strength up to Resident Evil 4 and then Resident Evil 5 and 6. 7, superb game, and The Village coming out next year looks like it's going to continue. Silent Hill also did an amazing job. The first game was superb, taking what Resident Evil was doing, putting a bit more of a supernatural spin on things. Silent Hill 2 was phenomenal, making you really think about what you were playing and why you were playing it and what was going on. Silent Hill 3 doing a fantastic thing of bringing back the first game. The Room was a bit of an interesting one, and the less said about anything after that, the better. And the more that we can forget what happened after PT, the better as well. Now, I think I'd probably get slapped around the face quite a bit if I weren't to mention the Legend of Zelda series. I started off with Link's Awakening, moving on to Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then jumping about the series as I managed to get hold of SNESes and older versions of the originals. I've not managed to complete all of them, unfortunately, but this is such a superb series, and I would seriously get hurt by many people if I were to forget it. Now, the next big thing with franchises is where they start doing the remakes and the remasters of games. Personally, I kind of don't see the point in owning the original if I have the remaster, but with the pricings of games these days, I might as well keep the originals. There's no point in getting rid of the old one. With a full-on remake, it's kind of nice to have the original, as they're essentially 2 different games. This is where I get into situations like the Fable series, the numbered-only games, that is. Hey, look, 3 versions of Fable 1. Now, because we do need to get this video up to a bit of a longer length, here is a montage of some of the good series out there that I think most of you should be remembering. There's that many different series and franchises out there, it'd be impossible for me to mention them all, so I've tried to incorporate as many as possible. Hang on, I'm sure that thing over there has been stalking me all the way through this video. So thanks very much for watching. If you have liked this, please subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment. Any input would be appreciated. Thanks very much. Thumbs are stupid. What am I doing with my thumbs?